We have a massive catalyst coming to the cryptocurrency market tomorrow, and in this video, I want to break down exactly what that catalyst is, as well as talk about XRP bouncing in a very important place and what it means for the XRP price chart now. Guys, earlier today, we had a huge confirmation on the price chart, and in this video, I want to talk about why that's happening and overall where XRP's future direction is. Like always, you support me so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Because I want to start out this video and jump right into something huge taking place tomorrow that I believe is going to paint a bigger picture for the entire cryptocurrency industry. For the longest time, TradFi had their arms up when it came to crypto and really pushed back as hard as possible. And we're in a very different time period than we were then. But one of the things I always told people was it really didn't matter. You could have screamed and yelled and protested the internet. It wasn't going to make any difference because the technology is just too powerful. And I really tried to make it clear to people that the same is true for blockchain technology. It really doesn't matter what the regulators choose to do in the short term. It doesn't matter who's going to protest the technology. It doesn't matter who's going to try to create their own replica that pretends to be the technology, but it's not. None of these things really matter because the technology is so powerful, it will insert itself into society. For every person who tries to push back, there's 10 more people who want to adopt it. And eventually the people who are pushing back are just going to be left in the dust. And I think this is a great example of that happening in real time. Vanguard was one of the people who essentially said, no cryptocurrency on our platform. And, as soon as this came out, I made a video and I said, look, this is not going to last. Their clients are just going to get up and leave and say, okay, then we'll go to someone who has crypto. And guys, tomorrow, Vanguard is completely switching its stance on crypto ETFs, and they're going to open up their $10 trillion of invested funds to the cryptocurrency market. Now, I believe this is going to have an impact because there is just so much money on Vanguard that can now be invested into this asset class. But guys, it goes to show something much larger, and I think this is especially true for XRP. There are a lot of people who are constantly saying, oh, it's not XRP, it's Bitcoin, right? We're going to continue for the rest of time in crypto to be using this outdated legacy cryptocurrency technology. We're never going to have any advancements. Pretty much we're stuck with slow transactions and high fees, and that blockchain technology won't be used for anything other than a store of value. It's almost the same exact thing of what we're seeing from Vanguard here. You can go out and scream as loud as you want. You can complain. You can talk about why you think Bitcoin's better for reasons that no one can really explain. But at the end of the day, the market's going to decide who the winner is going to be. And there's no question that there's no digital asset or digital asset network really positioned for institutional adoption like XRP is. So if you have the fundamental basis and thesis that institutional adoption of cryptocurrency is going to happen, we're already seeing it, but you're convinced that that's going to be a really big thing, there's nothing anyone can do to stop that. I see so many people saying, oh, well, the power is in the elites and they'll choose when this technology gets rolled out. Look, they can delay things, they can fight back, they can push and scream, but it didn't work when they tried to stop the internet. And it won't stop when they try to really prevent the internet of value from taking place. These things are far too powerful. They're far too important. And because of their decentralized and distributed nature, there's no place to really stop it. It's just one of those things that will only continue to get bigger and more systematic in society. And every single person who tries to put their hands up and block it will essentially either be removed from power or lose their clients and customers. And it's just not something that is going to work. Vanguard is one of the most powerful firms in the entire world, and they capitulated in about 2 months. No one's going to last. This takeover is happening, and this is just direct proof for you to look at and say, you know what? No one's going to be able to put their hands in and stop this. This is happening, and I better position myself in the place where I am going to reap the most benefit. In my opinion, there's a lot of different interesting and cool cryptocurrency projects out there. People are always bringing a new one to me and saying, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? From my perspective, look, I am going to see a lot of things that have a lot of value in the future. And there's going to be things that don't exist today that could end up being exponentially more valuable than things we're talking about today. I always think XRP will be one of the most valuable things in the market, second to none. But let's see, right? Google was the biggest internet company for a while, and then Nvidia came along and stole the show. I'm sure very early Google investors are still extremely happy and they're not worried about anything. But there's going to be new things that emerge in this market. But right now, I just don't see anything more secure, more just guaranteed, more staring you right in the face and saying this is the future than XRP. There's always risk to this asset class. There's always risk to the volatility of these investments. But when it comes down to overall success, it's just hard to see something remotely positioned as good as XRP is for the transition currently underway. And it's just one of those things where you're never going to find the number one thing and buy the bottom and sell the top. And you really don't have to. It's all about just positioning yourself long terms in the winners of any given industry. And what we're seeing time after time is this cryptocurrency industry is here to stay. It's too ingrained in society, and not even the most powerful financial institutions on earth can push back on what's coming. So guys, that should tell you all you need to know about where the future is headed. And even though it's not a game-changing XRP headline, I hope it at least shows you that it's just a matter of if, not when. I mean, a matter of when, not if. These things are taking place. They are being rolled out right in front of us. And at the end of the day, not even the biggest haters, not even the people who are pushing back the hardest are having any success in those endeavors. With that said, let's jump into the XRP price chart real quick. And I just thought this was an awesome post I wanted to share with you. Someone put out a formation that essentially showed the crash yesterday. They said, what is this pattern called? And Credible Bull said the bear blender. And guys, you need to understand, as we have bigger and bigger people stepping into this industry, look, they want to get cheaper prices on these assets. And they're going to do everything in their power to try to fake people out and shake them out. It's just one of those things you need to accept going into it. It's not going to be this shiny road where everything's super easy and just handed on a platter. Like, the goal of people is to get you out so they can buy your position. And it's just so important to realize that, look, it's going to likely get ugly before it gets better. And that's not to say there's something worse ahead of us. If you take a look at the XRP price chart, it has already been ugly, right? A lot of people thought this breakout, including myself, was the breakout that was going to take us to new all-time highs. And what did they do? They sold the market down to support. They wanted to make people think we were in a bear market. The highs are in. We're not going to see any more positive action. But if we take a look at what we're doing on the support, guys, not even they can get it below this $2 mark. We've had some very strong bounces off of this, and now XRP is sitting in a place where if it goes up a couple cents to that 240 mark, that's a full-on reversal, and we're back to talking about the bullish scenario. So it's just so important to realize that, look, people getting shaken out by what's going on in the market are really reacting to nothing more than noise. If I draw two lines here and set a range, right, and take a look at where we've been trading, almost nothing has changed since 2024. And if you move this out to a more zoomed out price chart, right, if we take a look at the monthly, right, things look absolutely incredibly bullish. So just understand, right, the goal for these people is to shake you out, to manipulate you, and make you think all the things that you are so sure of are not going to happen. But at the end of the day, what you can see on the back end is just larger and larger buy-in from the same exact people telling you things are not going to happen. So you need to just stick to what you understand, which is what you hold. The value of this technology is only going to be exponentially more realized by the market with time. And most people understand that. But they realize that right now, most people react to success based off the given price of these assets on any given day. If XRP goes down 50%, people attribute that to being XRP being 50% less successful, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. But they understand that that's what people react to. That's the emotional thing that makes people panic. And You just need to realize that it's all a game. It's all being played against you to make you think like that. But realistically, XRP doesn't change day to day. It doesn't change week to week. It doesn't change month to month. And if you were to look at the fundamentals from late 2024 when it first went on that parabolic rise to now, the fundamentals have only gotten exponentially better. It's only a far better investment than it was back then, and it's trading at the same price. So you just have to ask yourself, is this because the market is suddenly realizing there's no value in XRP and things are getting worse and it looks like adoption isn't going to happen? Or is it the exact opposite true? And it's more of a scenario where it seems like people want to manipulate the market and make you think this is never going to happen to try to get a hold of your bags before the eventual market reality takes place and these prices start to reflect their true value. I'm going to lean on the latter. I'm going to say that is what we have always seen in crypto. It's what we will continue to see. And personally, for me, it's just one of those things where I focus on the fundamentals. I don't focus on what any daily candle is doing. And that just puts me in a position to know that everything only looks better than it did yesterday and the day before and the month before and the year before. So why would my perspective on any of this change other than to be exponentially more bullish on where we're headed? It's like a slingshot. You can only hold it back so long. You can pull it back a little farther and a little farther, but that only makes the projectile go even further in the long run. And that's where I think we're at. People are trying to stretch every last bit of this thing before ultimately letting it go. And eventually it will go because that's where the momentum is taking us. The momentum is taking us higher, and people are going to take every opportunity to try to make you think that's not going to take place. But guys, there's only one thing we can look to really see if those people are true, and that's the fundamentals. Understand the fundamentals, understand where we're headed, and you're going to be positioned to be in a game-changing asset class that's going to rewire the entire financial system. But if you're focusing on daily candles, guess what? The financial system doesn't care about those daily candles, and for them, it's really a trick to make you not understand what you really hold. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update, and for now, Mickle out.